Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to TCFL Central. This is a special presentation of the college football playoffs for 2025. This is episode 3A. This will be the first game of the semifinal. Take a look at the brackets. And we have Oregon and Indiana, a Big Ten matchup. And in episode 3, Baker B, will have Georgia versus Ohio State. So in this episode, we'll concentrate on the Oregon-Indiana game. Look through the bracket. Oregon has won 2 games now, knocking off James Madison and Texas Tech. Indiana had a first round bye and then played Alabama and rolled over the tie 56-31. So Oregon and Indiana meet in the semifinals. Winner goes to the finals. So let's go ahead and get this game rolling. Rolling. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this game rolling. Okay, make sure both teams to be coached by the computer will play regular, and this game will be okay. It looks like it's the Peach Bowl for this matchup, and Peach Bowl is Mercedes. Let's see first if there's okay. The Peach Bowl's not there, so we go to the Mercedes. Yep, there it is. Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Okay, so let's head over to the stadium. That's the rosters. Okay, here's your offense and defensive starting lineups. Dante Moore will be quarterback for Oregon, and Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman Trophy winner, quarterbacking Indiana. Okay, this is a rematch of Week 7. Saturday, October the 11th, we have Indiana traveling to Oregon. Indiana won 30-20. Indiana at the time was ranked 7th, and Oregon was ranked 3rd. So you know it's awful hard to win 2 games in the same season against an opponent. So we'll see if Indiana can get around that issue and pick up their second win against Oregon. Of course, the opposite is the case too. Oregon knows that they lost to Indiana, and they should have a much better time this time since they played each other. So let's go ahead and head over to the stadium, toss the coin, and get the kickoff started.
Welcome to Mercedes-Benz Stad. Oregon versus Indiana. For this Action PC playoff game, we have an injury scratch. Knighton is inactive for today. Here's the kick from Radisic.
Okay, it looks like Oregon's got the ball first. We'll leave it
The
up
kick
to
from
our
Radisic is returned
play
14 yards by
announcer to
McClellan.
announce
Bootzinger on the tackle.
game, and we'll be back after the game. Sit back and enjoy the semi-final game. Remember,
Moore
the
on the
winner
sweep,
heads
no gain.
to the finals.
Tucker on the stop. 2nd and 10 from the 28. Moore from the shotgun. Whittington gains 24 on the pitch, Hans on the tackle, first down. 1st and 10 from the 48. Trips left. Moore to Moore, gain of 5, Hans on the tackle. 2nd and 5 from the 43. Moore barks out the signals. Moore the ball carrier, 8-yard gain, fumble recovered by Benson, Oregon maintain, 1st and 10. Whittington with the carry, no gain, Camera on the tackle. 2nd and 10 at the 35. Moore is intercepted by Boykin, return of 0. Mendoza in the shotgun. Mendoza with a gain of 2 on the play, Bircher on the tackle. 2nd and 8 from the 24. Mendoza calling an audible. Mendoza to Seraph, gain of 33, Flowers on the tackle, first down, Mendoza changing the play. Hemby on the carry, no gain, Bircher on the tackle. 2nd and 10 from the 43. Mendoza on the carry, 11-yard gain, Flowers with the tackle, first down. Mendoza on the sweep, gain of 17, Abideglu on the stop, first down. 1st and 10. Mendoza completes the pass to Cooper, gain of 15, Canady on the tackle, first down. Mendoza on the carry, touchdown Indiana. Mendoza passes to Cooper, touchdown Indiana. Radisic converts the extra point, Indiana 7, Oregon 0. The kick from Radisic. The kick from Radisic is returned 15 yards by McClellan, Bootzinger on the tackle. Oregon breaks the huddle. Moore lost 2 on the play, Londina on the tackle. Shotgun. Moore completes the pass to Bryant, gain of 3, Boykin on the stop. 3rd and 9 from the 21. Moore completes the pass to Bryant, gain of 11, Boykin on the tackle, first down. Indiana showing blitz. Moore on the carry, 12-yard gain, Jones on the stop, first down. Moore throws incomplete to Sadiq. 2nd and 10 from the 44. Moore is intercepted by Moore, return of 16. 1st and 10. Mendoza from the shotgun. Mendoza to Nowakowski, incomplete, Tieneman on the coverage. Mendoza calls out the signals. Mendoza completes the pass to Cooper, gain of 7, Canady on the tackle. 3rd and 3 from the 50. Mendoza calling an audible. Mendoza to Sarah, gain of 17, Finney on the tackle, 1st down. 1st and 10 from the 33. Mendoza completes the pass to Cooper, gain of 7, Canady on the tackle. Mendoza calls the signals. Mendoza lost 2 on the play, Tuyatai on the tackle. 3rd and 5. Mendoza at the line. Mendoza passes to Cooper, gain of 12, Flowers on the stop, 1st down. Hemby on the carry, gain of 6, Flowers with the tackle. Mendoza on the bootleg, touchdown Indiana. The kick by Radisic is good, Indiana 14, Oregon 0, Radisic boots it. The kick from Radisic is returned 23 yards by Hill, Gandy on the tackle. Moore passes to Bryant, gain of 14, Boykin on the tackle, 1st down, shotgun. "13-yard gain by Moore, Jones on the tackle, 1st down. Whittington with an 8-yard run, Fisher with the tackle. "16-yard run by Whittington, Moore on the tackle, 1st down. Moore on the bootleg, touchdown Oregon. Sappington converts the extra point, Indiana 14, Hurick to kick off. The kick from Hurick is returned 25 yards by Hemby, Woodyard on the tackle. Shotgun formation. Hemby with a 6-yard run, Washington on the tackle.
Face mask. Defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. 1st down.
Mendoza changing the play. Hemby the ball carrier, gain of 3, Porter on the tackle. Indiana up 7. 2nd and 7 from the 49. Three-yard run by Hemby, Tieneman on the tackle. 3rd and 4 at the 48. Mendoza hollers out the signals. Mendoza with the pass to Williams, 18-yard gain, Flowers on the tackle, first down. Mendoza completes the pass to Sarah, touchdown Indiana. The kick by Radisic is good, Indiana 21, Oregon. The kick from Radisic. The kick from Radisic is returned 22 yards by Whittington, Burris on the tackle. More from the shotgun. Whittington the ball carrier, gain of 2, Fisher on the tackle. Moore calling the signals. Moore gains 7 on the sweep, Tucker on the tackle. 3rd and 1. Three-yard run by Whittington, Londina with the tackle, first down. 1st and 10 from the 50. Whittington on the pitch, gain of 8, Farrell with the tackle. 2nd and 2. Moore gains 10 on the sweep, Hardy on the tackle, first down. Oregon breaks the huddle. Whittington with the carry, no gain, Tucker on the tackle. 2nd and 10 at the 32. Nine-yard gain by Whittington, Hardy with the tackle. 3rd and 1 from the 23. Moore calls the signals. Whittington with a gain of 15 on the play, Boykin on the tackle, first down. 1st and goal. Davison with the carry, touchdown Oregon. Sappington makes the extra point, Indiana 21, or Sappington to kick off. The kick from Sappington is returned 15 yards by Van Horse, Jackson on the tackle. Indiana up 7. Shotgun. Hemby on the sweep, 23-yard gain, Tieneman on the tackle, first down, 1st and 10 at the 40. Oregon showing blitz. Mendoza gains 9 on the sweep, Tieneman on the tackle. 2nd and 1 from the 49. Hemby on the carry, gain of 9, Abideglu on the tackle, first down. Oregon faking blitz. Mendoza throws incomplete to Sarah, Finney on the coverage. Mendoza calling an audible. Mendoza completes the pass to Sarah, gain of 16, Finney on the tackle, first down. Mendoza with the pass to Cooper, incomplete, Canady on the coverage. 2nd and 10. Mendoza to Cooper, gain of 15, Canady on the tackle, first down. Black on the carry, touchdown Indiana. Radisic makes the extra point, Indiana 28, Oregon. Here's the kick from Radisic. . The kick from Radisic is returned 13 yards by Hill, Boykin on the stop. 1st and 10. Moore in the shotgun. Whittington on the carry, 6-yard gain, Londina with the tackle. Oregon trailing by 14. Moore the ball carrier, gain of 14, Moore on the tackle, 1st down. Moore with a hard count. Oregon hustling to the line. Moore faces a double at the line. Whittington the ball carrier, gain of 7, Farrell on the tackle. Moore with the hard count. "29-yard gain by Moore, Farrell on the stop, 1st down, 2-minute warning, Moore with the hard count. Moore completes the pass to Benson, gain of 9, Sharp on the tackle. Moore with a hard count. Hurry up offense. Davison on the carry, touchdown Oregon. Sappington makes the extra point, Indiana 28, or Sappington to kick off. The kick from Sappington is returned 36 yards by Hemby, Avideglu on the tackle. Mendoza in the shotgun. Black on the carry, no gain, Gray with the tackle. Indiana by 7. 2nd and 10 from the 40. 1:18 in the second. Mendoza completes the pass to Williams, 12-yard gain, Avideglu on the stop, 1st down. Mendoza to Williams, incomplete, Canady with the coverage. Indiana breaks the huddle. Mendoza to Nowakowski, gain of 17, Flowers on the tackle, 1st down, Indiana by 7. 1st and 10. 0:58 in the second. Mendoza throws incomplete to Hemby, Mixon on the coverage. 2nd and 10. Mendoza with the pass to Sarrett, incomplete, Canady on the coverage. 3rd and 10. Mendoza is sacked by Washington, loss of 20. McCarthy to punt. Bryant waiting inside his own 10. "34-yard punt by McCarthy, fair catch by Bryant. Moore from the shotgun. Moore completes the pass to Davison, gain of 3, Fisher on the tackle. They're in a hurry up. Davison on the carry, no gain, Wheeler on the tackle. End of the first half, Indiana 28, Oregon 21, Sappington with the kick. The kick from Sappington is returned 18 yards by Hemby, Avideglu on the tackle. Shotgun formation. Mendoza throws incomplete to Sarrett, Finney with the coverage. 2nd and 10 from the 25. Mendoza at the line. Mendoza completes the pass to Serrat, 11-yard gain, Finney on the tackle, first down, Mendoza at the line. Mendoza on the carry, no gain, Washington on the tackle. Hemby on the carry, gain of 3, Washington on the tackle. 2nd and 20. Mendoza completes the pass to Williams, gain of 9, Bercher on the tackle. 3rd and 11 at the 35. Mendoza passes to Cooper, 4-yard gain, Canady on the tackle, McCarthy from punt formation. A 28-yard punt by McCarthy, out of bounds. Shotgun. Moore with the carry, loss of 6, Moore on the tackle. Moore throws incomplete to Sadiq. 3rd and 16 at the 27. Moore to Benson, incomplete. Ferguson Reynolds to punt. A 47-yard punt by Ferguson Reynolds, fair catch by Brady. 1st and 10. Mendoza from the shotgun. Mendoza passes to Williams, gain of 11, Avidaglu on the tackle, first down. Mendoza passes to Serrat, gain of 8, Finney on the tackle. Mendoza completes the pass to Becker, gain of 12, Finney on the tackle, first down, Indiana leads by 7. Hemby on the carry, no gain, Uyagale on the tackle. 2nd and 10 from the 43. Mendoza passes to Bond, gain of 10, Avidaglu on the tackle. 3rd and inches at the 33. Mendoza with a 10-yard run, Bercher on the tackle, first down. Jackson split out wide. Hemby the ball carrier, no gain, Bercher with the tackle. Becker faces a double at the line. Mendoza completes the pass to Hemby, gain of 10, Mixon on the tackle, first down, 1st and 10 from the 13. Hemby with a 12-yard run, Flowers on the tackle, first down. Stacked line. Black with the carry, no gain, Alexander on the tackle. Goal line defense. Black the ball carrier, no gain, Jackson on the tackle. 3rd and goal from the 1. Goal line defense. Martin on the carry, touchdown Indiana. Stacked line. Current drive, 12 plays, 74 yards. 5:54 off the clock. Martin on the carry, touchdown Indiana. The kick by Radisic is good, Indiana 35, Oregon. Here's the kick from Radisic. The kick from Radisic is returned 13 yards by Hill, Bootsinger on the stop. Moore in the shotgun. Moore on the carry, loss of 4, fumble recovered by Moore, Oregon maintains possession, 2nd and 14 at the 21. Moore calls out the signals. Moore is sacked by Tucker, loss of 6, fumble recovered by Hardy, Indiana ball. 2nd and 9 at the 26. Moore calling an audible. Moore completes the pass to Whittington, 5-yard gain, Farrell on the tackle. 3rd and 4. Moore is doubled at the line. Moore on the carry, 4-yard gain, Camera on the tackle.
Will be charged.
One-yard gain by Davison, Hardy on the tackle. Hill with a 8-yard run, Camera on the tackle. 3rd and 1 from the 44. Whittington with the carry, 1-yard gain, Jones on the tackle. 4th and inches from the 45. 0:08 in the 3rd. Limar on the carry, loss of 1, Moore on the tackle, end of the 3rd quarter, Indiana 35, 1st and 10 from the 44. Mendoza calls out the signals. Mendoza with the carry, gain of 16, Lalia on the tackle, 1st down. Indiana ahead by 14. Mendoza passes to Becker, incomplete, Canady on the coverage. 2nd and 20. Mendoza barks out the signals. Mendoza completes the pass to Cooper, gain of 7, Canady on the tackle. 3rd and 13 from the 31. I formation. Mendoza to Hemby, gain of 9, Mixon on the tackle. 40-yard attempt for Radisic. Clean snap. Radisic made the 40-yard field goal, Indiana 38, here's the kick from Radisic. The kick from Radisic is returned 22 yards by Whittington, Bootsinger on the stop. 1st and 10. Shotgun. Whittington with the carry, gain of 11, Moore on the tackle, 1st down. Oregon breaks the huddle. Moore completes the pass to McClellan, gain of 15, Boyd on the tackle, 1st down. Moore completes the pass to Bryant, gain of 11, Boyd on the tackle, 1st down, 1st and 10 at the 33. Moore with the pass to Davison, gain of 5, Farrell on the tackle. 2nd and 5 from the 28. More to Benson, touchdown Oregon. The conversion is successful, Indiana 38, Oregon 20. Sappington to kick off. The kick from Sappington is returned 7 yards by Van Horse, Fields on the stop. 1st and 10 from the 9. Shotgun. Hemby on the carry, gain of 3, Tuiutai on the tackle. Indiana working slowly. Mendoza calling signals. Hemby with the carry, no gain, Bercher on the tackle. Indiana by 9. 3rd and 7 at the 12. They're taking their time. Mendoza completes the pass to Nowakowski, gain of 11, Tieneman on the tackle, 1st down, 1st and 10 at the 23. Mendoza working very slowly. Hemby with a 6-yard run, Uyagale with the tackle. 2nd and 4. Slow down offense. Mendoza with a gain of 9 on the play, Flowers on the stop, 1st down. Mendoza slow to the line. Mendoza completes the pass to Cooper, gain of 58, Flowers on the tackle, 1st down, Mendoza working very slowly. Flowers in the box. Hemby lost 1 on the play, Bercher on the tackle. 2nd and goal from the 5. Indiana working slowly. Hemby on the carry, touchdown Indiana. The kick by Radisic is good, Indiana 45, Oregon. Here's the kick from Radisic. The kick from Radisic is returned 37 yards by Whittington, Utzinger on the tackle. Shotgun formation. Moore faces a double at the line. Moore throws incomplete to Moore, Pons on the coverage. Oregon trailing by 16. 2nd and 10 from the 49. Moore calling signals. Moore to Whittington, gain of 13, Moore on the tackle, 1st down. Hurry up. Moore to Bryant, gain of 2, Boyd on the tackle. Moore is doubled at the line. Moore completes the pass to Whittington, gain of 3, Fisher on the stop. 3rd and 5 from the 33. They're in a hurry up. Moore to Moore, incomplete. First and 10 from the 28. Moore calling the signals. Moore passes to Benson, gain of 12, Sharp on the tackle, 1st down. Moore throws incomplete to McClellan, Boyd on the coverage. Oregon trailing by 16. Moore completes the pass to Benson, touchdown Oregon. The conversion failed, Indiana 45, Oregon 35. Hence team on the field. Here's the kick from Sappington. The kick from Sappington is returned 1 yards by Chandler, Jackson on the tackle. Mendoza throws incomplete to Cooper, Johnson on the coverage. 2nd and 10 from the 44. Mendoza completes the pass to Hemby, gain of 8, Flowers on the stop. 2-minute warning. 3rd and 2. Mendoza at the line. One-yard run by Hemby, Uyagale on the tackle. McCarthy from punt formation. Bryant standing inside his own 10. "32-yard punt by McCarthy, out of bounds. 1st and 10 from the 15. 1:49 left in the 4th. Shotgun formation. More calling signals. Moore completes the pass to Bryant, gain of 11, Boyd on the tackle, 1st down. Moore passes to Benson, gain of 19, Sharp on the stop, 1st down. Oregon down by 10. 1st and 10 from the 45. 1:37 left in the game. Moore with the pass to McClellan, incomplete, Farrell on the coverage. Oregon trailing by 10. Moore passes to McClellan, 11-yard gain, 1st down. Moore to Whittington, incomplete, Fisher on the coverage. Oregon trailing by 10. Moore passes to McClellan, incomplete. Oregon trailing by 10. Moore completes the pass to Bryant, gain of 3, Boyd on the tackle. Oregon down by 10. 3rd and 7 at the 26. Moore throws incomplete to McClellan. Oregon down by 10. 4th and 7 from the 26. 0:53 left in the game. Moore completes the pass to Benson, touchdown Oregon. The conversion failed, Indiana 45, Oregon 41, hence team on the field. Sappington with the kick. The kick from Sappington is returned 5 yards by Hemby, Woodyard on the tackle. Indiana 45, Oregon 41.
Okay, there you have it from the Peach Bowl. Indiana 45, Oregon 41 in one of those old-fashioned shootouts. So let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. And let's see, at halftime it was Indiana 24, Oregon 21. Oregon scored 21 in the second and 20 in the fourth. Look at that. Oregon scored two touchdowns in less than 3 minutes left in the game to get back in the game. They were down 45-29. Then they tried 2-point conversion twice. Down by 10. I'm not sure why I even did the 2-point conversion. Just kicked the extra point. They had been down by 3. And the field goal's a lot easier than getting the range on a touchdown. But anyway, the onside kick went to Indiana. Indiana held on to the ball and won the game. There's first down, Oregon 29, Indiana 30. Rache, look at Oregon, 232 yards. Indiana, not a shabby 150. Passing wide, Oregon had 225, a little less than rushing. That's not sure if that's normal for Oregon, but that is a little peculiar. And we have Indiana throwing for 367 yards. It looks like Mendoza is living up to his hype with his Heisman Trophy. The Oregon 2 fumble penalties. Oregon only had 1 turnover. Oregon had 2. That may have been the game there. At least the difference in the game. Take a look at the total offense. Oregon had 457. Indiana 517. Nearly 1,000 yards of offense. Pretty much everything else is really close, except look at that. 11 10-plus yard runs for Oregon. Indiana had their share of 8. And passing wise, Oregon had 2 for 25 plus, and Indiana 3. Let's go down and take a look at the player stat. Ward didn't do too bad. 225. He did throw 2 interceptions. Those are probably the game killer. 3 touchdowns, 94 rating. Look at Mendoza, 367, no intercept, 2 touchdowns. Did get sacked 220, 126 rating. Punching wise, Whittington led Oregon with 110. Not sure why there are 2 D Morgans, unless it just happens to be 2. Otherwise, they probably should have been added together. Interesting there. Okay, on the Indiana side, Leader Russell with heavily with 76. Look at that, 4 rushing touchdowns for Indiana, and then 3 rushing touchdowns for Oregon. Receiving wise, Bryant Jr. had 7 receptions, but Benson had 6 for 110 yards and 3 touchdowns. Over on the Indiana side, we had Cooper Jr. with 9 catches for 125. We had 200-yard receivers. Sarek had 115. And you can see both of them scored touchdowns. Cooper had a 58. Sarek had a 33. And you see here, Moore fumbled twice, but recovered one of his own, and Benson recovered the other. No fumble turnovers. There's the rest of the stats. And the play-by-play. Okay, so that wraps it up here from the Peach Bowl. And Indiana holds off Oregon and defeats Oregon 45-41. They move into the finals. And that'll be against the winner of Georgia and Ohio State. That'll be our next episode. That'll be episode 3B, like 3 Baker. So I think that's going to be it here from the Peach Bowl. Just one quick look, you can see some stats are now becoming relevant. Mendoza looks like going to be the leading passer. Wellington of Oregon ended up with 435 yards rushing in that 3 games. Yeah, in 3 games. Let's go back to Indiana, Alabama. Check something here. Indiana rushed for 300 against Alabama. Those had 2 touchdowns before Mendoza led the team in rushing. Just curious about some of those. Okay. Well, again, that's it from TCFL Central. This is Gary signing up. Hope you had an enjoyable view of the Indiana Oregon game. Again, the final score, Indiana 45, Oregon 41. Indiana advances to the finals. Have a nice evening. Good night, all.